What is up, Endgame fam? We are about to do our first real fantasy football draft of the season against some of our subscribers. That's right. This is one of our Endgame PPR leagues. This is a $50 buy-in league, full PPR, one QB, one QB, two running back, three wide receiver, tight end, and a flex. We're about 5 minutes away from the start of the draft here. I got the 5 spot. Tomboy, my wife left me. I'm sorry to hear that, but maybe if you win a fantasy championship this year, it'll help. Maybe not. Nope, Quinner, we're not an underdog. We are on Sleeper. This is a Sleeper fantasy football league, a real fantasy football league. And let me make sure. What do I have the time set to? All right, 2 minutes. I like 2 minutes for a real draft. I mean, you shouldn't need 2 minutes, but I don't want people to feel stressed out. Michael, Ty, is it full? Yes, unfortunately, it is full. We are already full. It filled up, I think, like a week ago or so. Justin, no Pierre. Nope. This is just so. What we did is we did 4 leagues, two with me, 2 with Pierre. So I have this league tonight, and then tomorrow I have a very exciting league that I'm very excited for. It's a best ball redraft league. Very excited for that one. But this tonight is just a typical PPR redraft league here. Wish I was in the 3 spot. Me too, but I'm fine with the 5. I'm fine with the 5. Michael asking, what's the best round for me to start reaching for players I'm biased towards? Never too early. Like I will say, obviously in the early to middle rounds, like the single digit rounds, you don't want to reach more than maybe a round and a half, maybe 2. It's redraft. I'm okay with reaching a little bit. When you get to the later rounds, grab your guys. Absolutely grab your guys. But in the earlier rounds, middle rounds, it's still okay to reach. I mean, it's redraft. You only get one chance at drafting these guys. So if you really like somebody, go for it. John saying sorry in advance, Chris. I don't even know if Amon-Ra is gonna. Well, he'll probably make it to you because I'm guessing CMC, Hill, and CD will be the top 3, so he'll probably make it to you. But I'll take the Breeze consolation prize. Where's Paul tonight? I assume you mean Pierre. Pierre is not in this league. This is one of my leagues, so he will not be joining us tonight. He's doing 2 drafts on Saturday. All right, Anthony, rate my 12-man team. He's got Jalen Hurts, that's great. Henry, Achane, that's very good. Okay, so wait, how did you get Sun God and Henry and Achane and Hurts? Plus you got Metcalf and Neighbors and Brock Bowers. You got Jerome Ford, Najee, Jaden Reed, Sutton, Myers, Douglas all on the bench. And that's a pretty ridiculous 12-teamer right there. I don't know how you got Henry, Achane, and Sun God, and still got DK and Neighbors and Hurts. I'm gonna have to give that a 9. That's a 9. That's a great team. Well done, Anthony. Well done. Very good team. What's up, Bobby? Wow, Ty Powers, rough drafter, B+. The guy got Sun God, Derrick Henry, who's a 2nd rounder, Achane, who's typically a 2nd, 3rd rounder, Jalen Hurts, who's like a 3rd rounder, Metcalf, who's like a 3rd rounder. That is some tough grading, Ty Powers. Tough grading. Bobby said traded back from 9 to 11. Planning on going best available, as you should. And then Marvin Harrison. Yeah, if he's there, for sure. The Ayuk thing is driving me insane. He's got to be going back to the 49ers, right? Like, I don't know what's taking so long. All right, we are about to get this thing started. It's draft time. Everybody's in. I see green circles on everybody. Roberto, spicy Roberto will start us off with the 101. Again, this is no longer a mock. This is the real deal right here. The real deal. Joseph, what are my thoughts with the announcement of Kyron also being the punt returner? I think it's being overblown. I don't think it's anything, honestly. Quinner's picking third in a 12-team half PPR. Tell me I'm crazy for debating taking Brees there instead of Hill, CD. I mean, look, I'm not doing it, but it's not crazy. It's not crazy. It's not like I can't make a case against Brees. I can't like tell you like he's not good or his situation is not good. Like, no, everything is there for Brees this year. Like, if you watch my video where I predicted the RB1, I said Brees. So I can't say it's crazy. John definitely likes Anthony's team more. He says that's either a made-up team or he's a commissioner and moves players to his team. Nope, I think that's a real team. All right, Roberto, let's go. You're on the clock. He's really milking this. Really milking this here. Justin, if you guys ever need me to fill in for one or two of you, I got for both of us. You're going to fill in for both of us? Hey, you never know. You never know, Justin. Keep that in mind for sure. All right, at the last second, Roberto taking the entire clock to go CMC. What is this stuff? What is this new stuff down here at the bottom? What is this? What is all the poop? Weird. All right, well, there we go. A Monroe snipe for me, so I'm going to go hero. Let's go hero RB with Brees. Let's lock in our RB1 with Brees. We'll go hero RB tonight. Okay, Kyron on punt return. I think it's being overblown. Don't think it's that big of a deal. Don't think if it's that big of a deal. He's got two rookies starting. He's got okay, yeah, Bowers at tight end definitely makes me nervous. I will say that. And look, okay, Neighbors, but I mean, he still has like Ford, who's going to be. I mean, how good is Ford going to be to start the season? They have no other running backs. It's like all Jerome Ford, so he doesn't have to play Neighbors week 1. Bowers as my tight end early in the year certainly makes me nervous, but I think he'll come through. I did, Justin. I shocked the world with Brees Hall. Shocked the world with Brees Hall. We're going to go hero RB here. Drop. So Michael, drop Brian Robinson or Jaden Reed for no. Don't like Blake Corum. Blake Corum should be on every roster unless you're in like a really shallow league, but don't drop a starting running back, or I assume, I don't know if that's Jaden Daniels or Jaden Reed, but it doesn't matter. Like, don't drop guys that are starting just because Sean McVay is talking about Kyron Williams on punt return. Like, nah. Roberto says his wife is drafting for him. Okay, good luck, Roberto. I mean, look, maybe you'll probably have a better team, actually. 410 Braxton, do we have any other drafts doing with subscribers? Yes, I think there's still spots in one of Pierre's leagues. I think there still is. Let me get you guys the Discord link. And you can jump in there. It's in announcements. Go to the announcements channel. All right, so here's the Discord link. Oh, okay. I put the comment, but not the link. My bad. There you go. I think Pierre still has one spot, or it still has a couple spots in one of his leagues. It's a super flex league, so If you want to try to get into that one, but the other ones are full. Carl, what's up? Ready for some real football? Definitely. Would I start Spears or Jerome Ford in week 1? Definitely Jerome Ford. I mean, I just talked about it. Deontay Foreman got cut. Now, he may get re-signed to the practice squad, which I think is likely. But he still got cut. Nick Chubb is hurt. Nick Chubb and Nyheim Hines are on PUP. Pierre Strong Jr. is the only other running back on the team. Like, the dude's going to he's going to be a workhorse running back. And they get the Bengals week 1. And not the Bengals. They get Dallas week 1, which is not Dallas has a good defense, but they're much better against the pass and the run. Plus, Jerome Ford is a good pass catcher. Jerome Ford is borderline must start in week 1, I think. Does John Mechie get traded? I don't know. Did John Mechie even? I didn't even hear anything about John Mechie today. Did he make the roster? Did he make the team? I know Noah Brown got cut. I don't know. Did he make the team or get cut? Didn't hear anything about him. I guess I can just look at their final roster. No, he made the roster. Okay, he made the roster. Noah Brown cut. So, I mean, I guess he's worth an ad like in a deep dynasty league, but I don't know about redraft. Okay, so there you go. Pierre's Superflex needs 4 players still. So if you're okay with Superflex, which is a fun format, still got 4 spots. So go into the Discord, go to the announcements channel, and you'll see the link. I think it's a $25 buy-in, if I'm not mistaken. All right, William. All right, where are we at here? So, all right, coming up on my pick. Hold on, let's get back into this draft here. Let's get our head back into this draft. Get my trusty. So still, I mean, all right. So, I mean, Waddle, Olave. I can't go Derrick Henry here. I mean, I can, but not my style. I got Brees. I'm going here RB. We're taking Jalen Waddle here. Let's go. Brees, Waddle. Let's go. 2 league winners. Let's go. All right, William. 10-team Superflex. Richardson, Jaden Daniels, and Bryce Young at QB. Sun God, Jalen Waddle, and Rashee Rice, JSN, Shaheed at wide receiver. Reese, Kenneth Walker, Zamir White, Chase Brown, Jalen Wright at running back. Jake Ferguson and Pat Freiermuth. Wide receivers great, running backs great, tight ends totally love your tight ends. QBs are great. I actually think your QBs are going to end up being fantastic. They're risky, right? Because you have 2 running QBs and you have Bryce Young. But I think if Richardson and Jaden Daniels stays healthy, I think Bryce Young is going to shock a lot of people this year. I think you're going to be great. I think this is a very good team. I'm going to give it an 8-5. What's up, Andrea? Good to see you. Oh, Big Lenny and Jimmy drafting together. Let's see what they've done so far. Chase Debo to start. Chase Debo. Just remember, this is redraft, not best ball. Keep that in mind, you guys. A little different. PJ Nasty, Nico over Adams. I didn't take Nico over Adams. Oh, well, hold on. He hasn't been picked yet. I don't want to sway anybody, so I won't answer that one yet. So Bobby says, running a 12-team Superflex league, has passing touchdowns 5 points. What do I recommend with regards to scoring bonuses? I'm not really a big fan of bonuses, to be honest. Yeah, just do whatever. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of bonuses. Adam, if I have the number one pick, who would I take? I mean, I think you can't go wrong with McCaffrey, Lamb, or Tyreek Hill. Kind of like last year, I'm coming back around on Tyreek Hill as the number one pick. But any of those guys are fine. I will say though, in my opinion, if you go in a 10 team, you don't have to go as extreme. So any of those guys, I mean, if you're nervous about CMC for some reason, take Lamb or Tyreek Hill. And if you're worried about Tyreek Hill's thumb, which I know some people are, take CeeDee Lamb. You can't go wrong with any of those guys. Okay, Nico just got drafted. So Nico over Adams. Yes, I am team Nico over Adams. I know he's competing with Diggs and Tank Dell, but I'd rather have the wide receiver, who I think will be the wide receiver one, catching passes from CJ Stroud than the wide receiver one catching passes from Gardner Minshew. Like, yeah, give me Nico over Adams, personally. All right, it's fantasy football season. We are getting start-sit questions. Yang Spirit, Rashi Rice, T, Jacobs start 2. I think you got to go Jacobs this week. AJ Dillon on season-ending IR. Marshawn Lloyd probably not going to be playing week 1. He's going to get a ton of touches. We just did this, and I should know. I think it's the Vikings, right? I think they play the Eagles. Okay, the Eagles. It is a tough matchup, right? They have a pretty good run defense, but I think Jacobs is going to be just going to get too many touches this week. And then I think I go Rashee Rice over T. Higgins. Now, it sounds like Jamar Chase is going to definitely play week 1. If for some reason, because Zach Taylor, I guess the other day said like, we're not sure. But then today sounded like more likely that Chase is going to play week 1. If Chase is out, maybe I go T over Rashee Rice. But I probably go Rashee Rice and Jacobs this week. Alex, thoughts on Cowboys potentially signing Dust? Yeah, Dalvin is dust. I don't even care if they sign him. Don't even care. Rice not getting suspended at all. I don't think he's getting suspended this year. I don't think it's happening this year. It might happen next year, kind of like what we saw with Kamara, but I don't think it's happening this year. Mason Miller wants to know my honest thoughts on George Pickens. My honest thoughts are he's going to be better. He's still going to be volatile. He's still going to be frustrating, but not as volatile or frustrating, if that makes sense. So he'll still be very boom bust, I think, but he'll probably boom more than he had. Well, did he ever really prior to Mason Rudolph? I don't think he ever boomed. Maybe there was one week where Deontay Johnson was out and he boomed. I don't remember. But I think he'll still be a little bit frustrating in this Arthur Smith offense, but he'll be better. Yeah, hey, actually, Flacco's saying Steelers need to pick up Noah Brown. That makes a lot of sense. They could use a guy like him for sure. Who is Pickens' competition for targets? Pat Freiermuth, Darnell Washington, maybe Rowan Wilson when he's healthy, maybe Calvin Austin. I mean, he doesn't have a lot of competition for targets, but that's not the issue here. The issue is I don't think there's not going to be a lot of volume in this offense. And where it's really going to frustrate people is near the goal line. When our boy Arthur Smith is, dialing up end arounds for Cordero Patterson or something. You know what I mean? Just it's ridiculous. All right, let's see what we can grab here. Devonta Smith, no brainer for me. Give me Devonta Smith here. Give me Devonta Smith there. Michael saying, didn't realize I drafted 2 Atlanta players. Hope that doesn't backfire. I mean, oh yeah, Van Jefferson too. Forgot about him. It depends which 2 Atlanta players. I mean, if it's like Bijan and Drake London, you're fine. If it's Drake London and Pitts, I think you're fine. Even if it's like Drake London and Mooney, I think you're fine because Mooney goes so late. So you're probably fine. All right, Wyatt drafted last night in a 2-flex PPR, got Jaden Daniels, Gibbs and Stevenson, A.J. Brown, Drake London, DJ Moore, Higgins, Ferguson with Watson and Singletary on the bench. That's pretty good. So Moore and Higgins are your 2 flexes with Watson on the bench, Singletary. I don't know how many teams this is. I'm going to assume you got AJB and Gibbs and London. So I'm going to assume a 10-teamer and DJ Moore. I'm going to assume a 10-teamer. It's pretty good. I like Daniels this year. Obviously, there's risk, but I like him. 8-5. I'm going to assume 10 teams, so I'm going to say 8-5. It's a 12-team. It's an easy 9. Easy 9. Ty, thank you. Love the round by round by platform for videos. Thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate that. Waddle is good, but frustrating at times in fantasy. I mean, aren't all wide receivers outside of like the actual studs? But I do think he'll be less frustrating this year because I don't know how many Clancy, don't know how many of our videos you've watched, but I've talked about Waddle a few times. Last year, 8 times he ran less than 70% of the routes because even though he was on the field, he was not 100% for much of the season last year. You look at it, the year prior with Tyreek Hill, he only ran less than 70% of the routes 3 times all year. He did 8 times last year. He's healthy. Gotta count on them staying healthy, right? When you got to count on all your players staying healthy because that's just how you got to do it. So I think if he's healthy all year, he'll be less frustrating, and I think he's got great upside. I'm Jedi, not a no. I love. Okay, look, we get a lot wrong. There's no doubt about it, right? We get plenty wrong, but I don't think anybody. No, I shouldn't say that. But there weren't many people talking about Nico Collins last year. We were definitely saying Nico Collins, late round sleeper. We love Nico Collins. We like Nico even the year before. We were talking about Nico as a potential late round sleeper, thinking like because remember if you remember 2021, Davis Mills finished that season his rookie year and actually looked pretty good. So going into 2022, we said, hey, look, if Davis Mills builds on what he did at the end of the year, Nico Collins, he's got the potential to be a stud wide receiver. Well, Davis Mills didn't. He was terrible. Okay, Nico was terrible. But then when they drafted CJ Stroud, we said, oh, Nico Collins, he's actually a good wide receiver. He just needed a quarterback. So we're very high on Nico. The issue this year is now he's competing with Tank Dell and Stephon Diggs. I still like Nico. I still think Nico will be the technical number 1 in that offense, but he's not going to get the target share and the usage he got last year, especially in the second half after Tank Dell got hurt. But I still think he's fine. Thoughts on Dalvin to the Cowboys? Don't care. He's dust. Where do Stroud and Dak rank in a 6-point passing touchdown league? I think Dak and Stroud should be a lot closer than they are. I don't understand. Like Dak's situation is no different this year than it was last year. And he was fantastic. He was phenomenal. Like, why won't he be phenomenal again? Obviously, in a 6-point touchdown, that helps both of them because they don't get as big of a hit for their lack of rushing. In a 6-point passing touchdown, they're probably top 8 QBs for me. Danny, not a fan of. Well, here's the thing, Danny. It might not be Jimmy. It might be Big Lenny. Tony, not a fan of Ayuk and Debo in the second round. Matthew Mineta, who was the biggest bust last year on where they were drafted, injuries aside? I mean, the one that comes to mind has got to be Tony Pollard, right? Like, was there a bigger bust than Tony Pollard? The guy was the second rounder. I mean, Tony Pollard, like, didn't kill you if you had Tony Pollard, but he sure didn't live up to second round. That was a big miss. Who else? Who else was a big bust last year, non-injury? Oh, Austin Eckler. Austin Eckler has to be the biggest. No, Austin Eckler, biggest bust last year, non-injury. Unless you're going to tell me that his ankle injury in like week 3 was still affecting him in week 17, which I have my doubts. So I think Austin Eckler has to be the answer, right? It has to be Austin Eckler. Guy was a consensus top 5 pick last year, and he was horrible. I think Diggs, even though Diggs was really good the first half, the second half he was almost unplayable. Almost unplayable. And it was an injury. So Eckler and Diggs, I think, have to be the top 2. Voice of Reason. What's up, Jay Tatum? Says he thinks Higgins is going to have a big season. I do like Higgins this year. I think Higgins is going to bounce back. He's playing for a contract. I like Higgins this year. Definitely like Higgins this year. Okay, in a 12-team Superflex, should I do 4, 5, or 6? I usually do 4 in Superflex because QBs already get a big bump in value just from the fact it's Superflex. I do play in a Superflex league where it's 6-point passing touchdown and QBs just dominate. Like we had Dak Prescott last year. We were getting like 30+ points almost every week from that guy. So in Superflex, I prefer 4. In single QB, I'm more okay with 6-point passing because the issue with a 4-point passing touchdown league is that it does greatly increase the value of running quarterbacks. So if you kind of if you're like, well, I don't like that, then I think in a 1 QB league, it works. In a Superflex, I prefer 4. But look, what I always say, it's your league. You run the league the way you want. Timbo Slice. 2 running backs or 2 wide receivers or wide receiver running back at picks 12 and 13. It depends who's there. Like tonight, okay, 12 and 13 was Puka, Jonathan Taylor. I'm fine with that. I would have been fine with Puka, Marvin Harrison. If Garrett Wilson had fallen, I'd be fine with Garrett Wilson, Puka, Garrett Wilson, Marvin Harrison, Garrett Wilson, Jonathan Taylor. I mean, I don't think it really matters. It really depends on who's there. You never know who's going to fall in your league, who's going to be there. So don't get committed to something already. All right, another Brees with the 4th pick. Is it reaching? No, I don't think it's reaching. I definitely don't think it's reaching. I prefer it more in maybe half PPR. In full PPR, I still prefer Amon-Ra at the 4. But I wouldn't say it's reaching. No. All right, Sun AAA, 10-teamer. Josh Allen, good. Bijan, Kyron Williams, Derrick Henry. Okay. How did you get Josh Allen, Bijan Robinson, Kyron Williams, Derrick Henry? Yeah, I know it's a 10-team. All right, so then you got Waddle, Diggs, Keenan. Okay, Chris Godwin. I mean, I like those guys, but certainly wide receiver not as strong as QB and running back. You got Pitts. This was close to a 10. I don't know who you could have taken instead of Diggs. And I don't know who you could have taken instead of Keenan, but this was close to a 10. But this is still really good. We'll give it a 9. Would you ever draft Cheetah and Waddle at the same team? Sure. No problem with it. Worried about Waddle being hurt all training camp? What? Nah, he's fine. They're just easing him in. No, just looked it up. Yeah, he's back. He's in a non-contact, but we're still 2 weeks from the season. He's fine. SGT Stacking, good to see you too. Big CEO 2K. Start Adams, Dell, Higgins, Deontay Johnson, pick 3. Let's see. Hold on, let me make this pick here. Ooh. Pickens, Higgins, Josh Allen. Yeah, man. Tatum, what do I do here? Do I go Pickens or Higgins? Pickens or Higgins? It's a tough one. Let's go for the upside. I think Pickens has more upside. I like Higgins though, but let's go Pickens. Let's do it. We'll see if I regret that later on. All right. Raiders get Chargers. That's pretty nice. Texans get Colts. They have a good secondary. Higgins, the Bengals get, I think, the Pats. That's not bad. And Deontay, the Panthers. The Saints. That's tough. I think I might go the first 3. I like all these guys. I think Adams against Chargers is too good of a matchup to bench him. I feel like Deontay might get more. Deontay's probably safer than Dell. Who does Houston play again? They play the Colts. That's a good secondary. Actually, I might go Adams, Higgins, Deontay. Adams, Higgins, Deontay. Benny, what's up, buddy? Jay Problem, what is up, buddy? Good to see you. Michael said he got sniped on DK. Where did DK go? Lizard King took him right before you. All right, Frosa planting the flag on Rachaad White. Nothing wrong with Rachaad White in the 4th. I think that's fine. Flacco picked up Nico because of us. It's good. That was a league winning pickup for sure. AJ Dillon done, yes. Does that change my outlook for Josh Jacobs? Not really. I think, like, were we really worried about AJ Dillon? I think it's good for Josh Jacobs to start the year because I don't know if Marshawn Lloyd's going to be ready week 1. Not too worried about Emmanuel Wilson. But I think at some point Marshawn Lloyd he's going to be back, and I think they like him. So I don't think it changes. It doesn't make me higher or lower on Jacobs. I still like Jacobs. I still think Jacobs will be good this year. Thoughts on CMC and if he's too much of a risk at 101? I mean, is he a risk? Sure. He's a running back with a zillion touches. But at the same time, the reward is he wins you a fantasy championship. There's not a lot of guys we can say that about, right? There's not a lot of guys on the board that you can say, if they play all 17, they win me a fantasy championship. I mean, McCaffrey, Lamb, Tyreek Hill, probably Sun God, probably Brees, maybe Chase, probably Jefferson, maybe AJ Brown, probably Bijan. Like, you know what I mean? Like, maybe Gibbs. Like, we're starting to get in the maybes here, right? We're starting to get in the maybe range. Like, there's not a lot of guys you just, if I told you right now CMC was going to stay healthy all year, you would no doubt pick him the 101, right? Like, not even a question. So, is there a risk? Sure, but it's a risk you got to take. Sun AAA, I already rated your team. Why you keep posting it? I already rated it. Burrow definitely gets a bump. I'm Jedi. Burrow definitely gets a bump in 6-point passing touchdown. Definitely gets a bump for that. Like, I would like now it's like when I'm looking at Burrow and Kyler, it's closer. Or I'm looking at Burrow and Richardson, it's closer. It's closer. Mason Miller, Dameon Pierce. Yeah, Dameon. I can't say Dameon Pierce was a bust because I mean, where was Dameon Pierce being drafted last year? I honestly don't even remember. Like 6th round, 5th round. I really don't even remember. What about Cam Akers? Like as a bust? I don't think. Again, where was Cam Akers being drafted last year? Like round 5? I don't remember where Cam Akers was being drafted. But I mean, Eckler was like a top 5, top 3 pick. He was horrible. Yep, I agree. Jay Tatum, Ford, and Javonte have been 2 of the best values at running back all offseason. How do I feel? The believer, how do I feel about DK Metcalf this year? I'm a believer. I like what this offense is going to do. They're going to use him in motion. They're going to get him lined up all over the field more. Oh. Wow. There's some good values still on the board. Oh, man. This is actually tough. This is tough. I don't normally go QB or tight end this early, but man, can I say no? All right, I think I gotta pull the trigger here. I don't normally go QB this early, but man, Mahomes this late feels too good to pass up on. I already predicted Mahomes 5,000 yards and 50 touchdowns, so let's go, Pat. Cam Akers played like 2 games, I think, or whatever, but he was, again, he was like a much later pick. Like Austin Eckler was a top 3 pick who literally was not even like, should have been on waivers. Where do I place Ferguson, Etienne, and Anthony Richardson in a 14? I mean, Etienne in a 14 teamer, probably 2nd rounder. Anthony Richardson, 4th, 5th rounder. Ferguson, 7th round pick. I don't understand. Is this like a keeper league? I don't get what you're asking me. So Justin had 2 drafts on Sunday, had pick 3 in both, and picked Brees in both. Am I crazy? Again, I don't think Brees that high is crazy. I will say if let's say tomorrow I get pick 5 again, I probably won't take Brees. Just because, like, what happens if Brees suffers a season-ending injury and now both your teams are down their 1st-round pick? So because you had the number 3 pick in both, I probably would have taken somebody different just to diversify a little bit so that in case something happens to Brees, both your teams aren't screwed. Kevin, yes, indeed. It is the most wonderful time of the year. How do you feel about the Hill Tua stack? I think it's great. I think Tua's being very undervalued this year. I shouldn't talk about guys that haven't been drafted yet, but I think he's being. I mean, he led the league in passing last year. Now the touchdowns weren't there, but that could change. So, what's up, 369 Rye? Not any lower on Kyron after the punt returner news. What's up, Anthony? Yep, solo tonight because this is my endgame PPR league. Alejandro, this is on Sleeper. Does that boost Blake? No, I mean, look, Blake Corum is still one of the best handcuffs in all of fantasy football. Because if Kyron goes down, it's it. League winner Blake Corum, no doubt about it. So, but I don't think like. All right, Bruin backhand. Yeah, this seems to be a common theme in a lot of leagues. Oh, we're getting a tight end run here. Likes the way the draft fell to him, but tight ends flew off the board way too early in my 10-team PPR league. Do you have any tight ends that are beyond the top 10 you might recommend? Yes. I still like Muth. I mean, I don't want to like talk about guys that haven't been drafted yet. we'll come back to that. Let's come back to that. Since we are doing a real draft right now. All right, taking CMC at the 101. Who should I follow up with in PPR? Considering between Nico, Achane, Waddle, Marvin Harrison, Cup, and London. Well, I think if Marvin Harrison is there, you got to go with Marvin Harrison. I think I go London. I like Waddle, but I think I like London a little more. So I think I go Harrison and London. If all those guys are there, I'm going Harrison and London. I got a super chat from Jason. What's up, Jason? Thoughts on Chase Brown taking over the running back one spot? Maybe, but I think to start, it's going to be Zach Moss. What about Eckler? No, don't think so. Aaron Jones, boom bust season. I mean, every Aaron Jones season is boom bust. But I think he's a good value this year. Mike Williams worth the stash if you get him late enough. I mean, I'm not feeling great about a 29-year-old wide receiver coming off ACL, but if you get him late enough, sure, go for it. Go for it. All right. Jimmy and Big Lenny saying Pickens great. I don't know if that makes you feel good or not. Although a lot of people seem to like my Pickens pick. All right, we got another super chat from Cali Kid. 10-team PPR. Aaron Rodgers is your QB in a 10-teamer. Man, that's crazy. Like your league drafted that many quarterbacks that you had to get Aaron Rodgers? All right. Bijan, Najee Harris, Amon-Ra St. Brown. You got Amon-Ra St. Brown and Garrett Wilson and Laporta and Mike Evans and Kupp and Ayuk. Okay, so you definitely went hero RB here, but you know what? I don't even mind it because, I mean, your wide receivers are stacked. You got Bijan. You got Javonte on the bench. You got Mostert. Okay, you have Caleb Williams. I'm starting Caleb Williams over Aaron Rodgers week 1. I don't care. Hey, you want to go Aaron Rodgers, it's fine. Okay, you got Caleb Williams. That makes me feel a lot better, actually. You got Gus Edwards, Rome Odunze. Even for a 10-team, this is a great team. Obviously, RB2 is your weakness because you went hero RB, and QB is a little weak for a 10-teamer, but still a very good team. Let's say 8-5 here. 8-5 just because, who's your tight end? Laporta? Yeah. 8-5 just because QB is a little weak and RB2 is a little weak. But you got Javante, you got Mostert, you got Najee, you got Gus. You'll be okay at RB2. 8-5. Well done. Well done. All right, where were we? Who's Sevo? That's Miguel. It's Miguel. Anthony said he did a couple underdog drafts last night, and most picks went above ADP. Yes, this is what we see. This is why I asked Jimmy. I don't know if Jimmy, if you have this data, have the best ball mania winners typically been teams that were drafted very close to the season? My guess would be yes, because I feel like you probably get crazy values close to the season because you probably get more casual drafters, for lack of a better word. Billy Harris, fantasy football is a risk. That's right. Frosis, I was talking about you guys being all over Rachaad White last year. Yeah, we got that one right. So that was nice. We get some things right. We get some things right. All right, let's see if I can get this pick right. Ooh. Oh. Okay. Man, I'm telling you, these are tough spots, honestly. Tough spot. I mean, there's a guy. I wonder if I'll make it back, but I don't think he will. I don't think he'll make it back to me. But I don't feel like he's pick here. There's a guy I also wouldn't mind picking, but I might regret this. But again, I just feel like the value is too good here. All right. QB tight end relatively early for me. I don't normally do this, but I feel like the value is too good here for Andrews. Am I drafting a lot of league neighbors? I've drafted a little of them in best ball. I'm probably not going to draft them in redraft. Just Daniel Jones. No, thank you. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'm sure it's a relief. Did people take 8 running backs in a row last year? I don't even remember that. All right, Alejandro's got an 8-man PPR. Kyler, Brees, Cook, Swift, Marvin Harrison, Pittman, London, Pickens, Worthy, Ladd, Hollywood, Pitts, and Goddard. Am I cooked? All right, well, you got Brees and James Cook. That's fine. You got Harrison, Pittman, London, Pickens, Worthy, Ladd, no. Pitts and Goddard. How are you cooked? I mean, it's an 8-team league, but you still have a lot of good players. I don't think you're cooked. You might not be the most stacked team, but you're not cooked. $369. Take the elite QB or tight. Yes, I was debating between Mahomes or Laporta on that last pick. That was the debate. Was do I go Mahomes or Laporta? Do I want the tight end or the QB? But I feel like having if Mahomes does Mahomes things this year, I feel like that's going to be a bigger advantage than Laporta. But that was definitely my debate. Was Mahomes or Laporta? Mahomes or Laporta? That was what I was debating. All right, here we go. Thoughts on the Kyren Williams news? Fake news. I'm not worried about it. Not worried about it. I think it's being blown out of proportion. I think he'll be fine. I think Kyren will be fine. All right, Ethan, what's up? Drafted at the 10. Chase Bellamy, nice, but took AJ Brown. Okay. I mean, AJ Brown will still be great, so it's fine. I probably would have gone Chase, but okay. JT on the turn. Am I dumb? No. I mean, come on. I mean, you look at this draft here. AJ Brown went 2 picks after Chase. I certainly don't think you're dumb for passing on Chase at the 10. I would have taken Chase, but I think AJ Brown's gonna be great this year. I think you're gonna be fine. You're gonna be fine. You're gonna be fine. All right, Sota has a full PPR 10 team. Jaden Daniels, Jefferson, Garrett Will. Like how? All right, okay. It's Jefferson, Garrett Wilson, and Kyron Williams. So you got 3 first and second rounders in the first 3 rounds. That's pretty nice. Rachaad White, Trey McBride, Terry McLaurin, bench, Josh Palmer, CJ Stroud. Why did you take CJ Stroud and Jaden Daniels? I guess it's okay. Zach Moss, Austin Eckler, Kobe Myers. It's weird because your starting lineup is absolutely stacked and your bench is like, it's okay. Like if that bench feels like a 12-team bench, not a 10-team bench. So starting lineup, like a 9-5. The bench is like a 7. All right, Pedro. In non-PPR, okay, I'll do my best. Got Anthony Richardson, which is great in non-PPR because he can be like a cheat code in that format. Etienne and Kenneth Walker, Jefferson, St. Brown, Kincaid, Najee Moss, Brian Robinson, Flowers, Sutton, McConkey, grade the team. I mean, again, it's non-PPR, but you got a lot of really good players. I just wonder, like how good is Jefferson and Amon-Ra in non-PPR versus the running backs you could have gotten there? I don't know which running backs are available, but that's my question. Because I haven't, like my home league used to be non-PPR, but we've switched way long time ago. It's been a long time since I played in non-PPR. You have a lot of good players. It's hard for me to rate non-PPR, but you like if this was a PPR team, I would be like this team is stacked. Non-PPR, it's probably still good. I don't know. I'll give it an 8. Maybe that's too low, but again, I don't really have a good feel for non-PPR. All right, I Mind Heart, 12-team PPR, 2 keepers. Kept Mahomes and Kelsey. You didn't have a better keeper than Kelsey? All right. All right, so with your first pick, who am I going with? Adrian Pacheco, Jacobs, Olave, London, Ayuk, Evans. It's full PPR. I'm going London is the guy I have ranked the highest. If you want to go running back, I probably go Pacheco. If you're like, or if you're like, hey, I don't want to risk London. He was so bad or whatever. Okay, fine, go Pacheco. London or Pacheco. Be my picks. All right. How many wide receivers in flex in this league? 3 wide receivers, 1 flex. I'm pretty sure. Let me make sure. I won't do it that way. I'll look on the phone. I mean, I did set up the league. I should know, but I'm pretty sure it's 3 wide receiver, 1 flex. But I'll verify right here. Yes, 3 wide receiver, 1 flex, 2 running back, 1 tight end, full PPR. So I don't in a league like this, I'm not a total fan of taking QB and tight end early because you do need. You're probably going to start 4 wide receivers, but I feel like the value on Mahomes and Andrews was too good. We'll see if it comes back to bite me. Oh, Omar. Traded Rachaad White and Deontay Johnson for Devontae Adams. I don't like it. I Don't like it. Don't like it, Omar. Sorry, buddy. I wish I could tell you I loved it, but I'm just not that high on Devontae Adams this year. I think White, I don't know if White will be as good as he was last year, but he'll still be good. But I think Deontay Johnson is going to be really good. So I don't like it, but you never know. You never know what'll happen. All right, well, let's see here. I'm gonna the wide receiver I was considering last round is still on the board. I think I gotta just take him here. I think we just gotta take him. I'm gonna take the injury discount on Hollywood. We're gonna stick him in our IR slot as soon as he's out week 1, and we're gonna grab somebody off the waiver wire. And then we're going to have that nice, juicy Mahomes Hollywood stack when he comes back. All right, made by Giants. That went Bijan, Saquon, Pacheco, Metcalf in the first 4 rounds. Nice. Very good. Very good. Yeah, being a punt returner is usually not the best news, but I don't think his quote was like, okay. Oh, no thanks. Okay, so he says, it's another opportunity for him to get touches and impact the game. And you feel comfortable with that because of the confidence in Blake Corum and Ronnie Rivers being able to spell him if need be. So that was what has made it tough for X. I'm assuming whoever X is the guy who was going to be doing punt returns. He didn't do anything to not win the punt return job. It's just Kyron is a guy that we want to continue to have different ways that he can impact the game. And that's one that's going to be reflected. So it's not like Kyron is now just a punt returner. All right, Tolu. Hey, I'm in a super flex league. 12 team has Kyler, Olave, Nico Collins, Pacheco, Mostert, Dallas Goedert, Devonta Smith, Jaden Daniels, bench, Ramondre Stevenson, Godwin, Brian Robinson Jr., Hollywood, Musgrave, Shaheed. 12th pick passed on Puka. Who did you? Well, I assume you took Kyler. But who did you pick after Kyler? Did you go Kyler Daniels in Superflex? I like your QBs. Olave, Nico, Devonta Smith, Godwin. Wide receivers are good. It's a 12-teamer, right? Yeah, wide receivers are very good. You got Pacheco, Mostert, Stevenson, Brian Robinson. I mean, I can't be mad about that. You got Goddard and Musgrave. Okay, so you can mix and match tight ends. This is a very good team for Superflex. I would have liked one more QB, but QBs always pop up on the waiver wire, so I'll give you an 8.5 on that. All right, Zachary, 10-team half PPR. Caleb Williams at QB. Jefferson, Pittman, Adams, DJ Moore, Neighbors at wide receiver. That's very good. I mean, if Devontae Adams is your wide receiver 3, that's pretty good. And if Neighbors is your wide receiver 5, that's really good. And you got Brian Thomas. That's nice. Zamir White, Brian. Okay, so you obviously went 0 RB. Zamir White, Brian Robinson, Javonte Williams, Chuba. I mean, for 0 RB, that's pretty good. It's just 10-team. I would like to have a better RB1. I don't know how many wide receivers you're able to start every week. Like if you're only starting 3 of these guys, then I would probably have preferred a better RB1 in a 10-teamer. So I'm going to say, I mean, your wide receivers are stacked. I do like the running backs you have, but without a true running back 1 in the 10-teamer, it's kind of tough. Unless, again, you can start 4 or 5 of those wide receivers, then it makes sense. So I'm going to say 7 7.75. Unless you could start a bunch of those wide receivers, then it would probably bump it up to an 8 for me. But look, if you can work the waiver wire, or if Zamir White and Javonte Williams or Brian Robinson are monsters this year, then this team is like probably going to win the championship, honestly. So it's not like it's a bad team by any stretch. All right, where are we at here? Omar saying you got JT and Achane as running backs. That's great. Jefferson and Rashee Rice needed good flex, but I think you probably could have flexed Deontay Johnson or Rashad White. So, yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see, Omar. I hope it works out for you. Jay Tatum says, love my start. Thank you, Jay Tatum. Justin, my favorite team is the Commanders, but these days I really don't really root for teams too much. It's pretty much all fantasy for me. Jimmy, say that again. The question is, do you know when Best Ball Mania winning teams were drafted? Was it closer to the season or was it earlier in the offseason? Do you know? Because my theory is it's probably closer. Teams that were drafted in August or late August are probably have won more of the Best Ball Manias than teams drafted like in June or July or whatever. Do I draft players for my favorite team if they're good? Like I'll draft Terry McLaurin. I'll draft Ryan Robinson, but it's not because they're on my favorite team. It's just because they're good. All right, Matthew's got a 10-team PPR. CD, Marvin Harrison. Oh, let me take this one off the screen so you guys can see what's going on here. Wait, where'd it go? Where'd it go? All right. CD, Marvin Harrison, London. How these teams? How did you get 3 second rounders, even in a 10-teamer? All right. CD, Marvin Harrison, London, James Cook, Kenneth Walker, Mostert, Javonte Pickens, Kyler Ferguson, Hollywood. Shaheed, Rico. This team's great. I mean, you got Cook and Kenneth Walker as your running backs. You got CD, Marvin Harrison, Drake London as your wide receivers. Mostert, Javonte Williams, Pickens. I assume they're your bench. Kyler Murray is your QB. Ferguson as your tight end. Hollywood, Shaheed, Rico. 9. This is a 9. All right, Jordan. In a 14-team full PPR, 1 flex. Anthony Richardson, Etienne, and Jerome Ford. Amon-Ra, DK Ferguson, Zay Flowers in the flex. Spears, Sutton, Stafford on the bench. Brandon Cooks, Taysom Hill. This is a 14-team league, and you got Amon-Ra, DK Metcalf, and Zay Flowers at wide receiver. You got Ford. You still got an elite QB in Richardson. You got Ferguson at tight end. You have a pretty good bench. This is a very good team for a 14-teamer. I'm going to say it's probably a 9, honestly, for a 14-teamer. This would be a good team in a 12-team league. So well done. All right, wide receivers drying up a little bit here. All right, I'm coming around on Jacoby. Let's do it. All right, where are we at here? Megan, second year doing fantasy. Didn't do awful last year, but definitely could have done better. Been binging your videos this week. Okay, let's go. Let's go, Megan. Feel free to ask us questions on these live streams. Alex, yeah, I was considering Ingram there. I honestly, if I would have known, well, I mean, Andrews, I guess, would have made it back to me too. I didn't think Ingram would make it back to me because I know the catch. John is very high on Ingram. But yeah, I wouldn't take Ingram over Andrews, so I had to go Andrews there. Chris, any QBs in the NFL you like less than Daniel Jones? Desmond Ridder? I guess he's not in the NFL anymore. He got cut today. Sam Howell? Can I put? Yeah, I'll start putting the comments up for the teams. Do I think Marvin Harrison will be a top 10 wide receiver in PPR? I think he can be. I'm not going to say he for sure will be, but I think he can be. Josh Jacobs stock up now that A.J. Dillon is out for the season. Early in the year, yes, but I still think Marshawn Lloyd will eventually. Matt LaFleur is not a guy who just has a workhorse. Even when A.J. Dillon was terrible last year and Aaron Jones was good, like A.J. Dillon still got an annoying amount of touches. So I'm not really changing my view of Josh Jacobs, to be honest. But I like Josh Jacobs. So my view is still positive. It's not like I down on him or anything. All right, Doug Fenton, what's up? Rate my 10-team full PPR. Got Murray and Stafford. Brees Hall, Josh Jacobs, Kenneth Walker, H.N. Mostert. That is fantastic. It's fantastic. Wide receiver, Garrett Wilson, Rashee Rice, Zay Flowers, Worthy, Brian Thomas. All right, I see you went very running back heavy early, which is fine. I like these wide receivers. I don't know if this has the upside I'm looking for in a 10-teamer. Look, if Rice takes a step, if Flowers takes a step, Brian Thomas is that dude, then the wide receivers could be. Ferguson at tight end is fine. You got an elite QB in Murray. So yeah, wide receivers, I would like instead of getting Hall, Jacobs, Walker, H.N. and Mostert, maybe if one of those guys was another elite wide receiver, I'd really, really like this team, but it's still a very strong team. Let's go 8-7-5. Well done. All right. Austin, 12-team full PPR. Got Kyler Murray, McCaffrey and Walker. Nice. Olave and Flowers. Good. With Deontay Johnson in the flex. Kincaid. And then some kicker. Loves watching us. Thank you, Austin. All right. Well, I don't know your bench here, so I guess we're just rating the starting lineup. You got an elite QB. You obviously got CMC and Walker. That's a great combo. Olave and Flowers, I think, is good at wide receiver. Again, not phenomenal at wide receiver, but it's good. I like Deontay as your flex. You got an elite tight end. I'll give this one a solid 8. Well done. Solid 8. All right, where were we? Where we were. All right, right here. All right, here we go. Made by Giants, 10-team, 2 QB. Goff and Tua are your only QBs in a 2 QB. Risky. Bijan, Saquon. That's fantastic. Metcalf, Higgins, Keenan Allen. Okay, so Bijan, Saquon, Pacheco. So you went very robust running back, I'm guessing. You obviously punted QB in a 2 QB, which I'm not a fan of. Metcalf, Higgins, Keenan Allen. Your wide receivers are fine. Yeah, I mean, if this is 2 QB, like you have to start 2, I would definitely like better QBs and I would like more QBs. I don't know if it's PPR or not. Maybe it's not PPR, so maybe that's why you went so running back heavy. But with those QBs, I can only give it a 7. All right, well, I got to take my boy here. Potential league-winning running back. Is he this far down in the ADP? Really? He's still way down there. Still way down there. Megan says she also has Mahomes, Andrews in one league, so let's see together. Look, Andrews was great last year before his injury. I don't know why Andrews is being kind of slept on this year. He was great last year until he got hurt. And it's not like they did anything to make me like scared that Andrews is going to lose some significant target share. All right, Juan Pablo. Let me know what you think. Kyler, Bijan, Zamir, AJ Brown, DJ Moore, Ladd McConkey, McBride, and Trey McBride. Brian Robinson, Moss, Mitchell, Leggett, Jalen Wright, and Mitchell. I'm going to hope it's a 12-teamer. Although that wouldn't make any sense because you got Bijan and AJ Brown, so it must be a 10-teamer. There's no way. Don't tell me in a 12-team league you got Bijan and AJ Brown. That's ridiculous. So I'm going to, okay, maybe a 10-teamer. So you got Kyler, you got Bijan, you got AJ Brown, DJ Moore, Trey McBride. Like, you definitely have some players I like, some I don't. If this is a 10-teamer, which I feel like it has to be because you have Bijan and AJ Brown, I don't think you could do that in a 12-teamer. I don't even think it's possible. Then it's a mixed bag. It's a 7. Assuming 10-teamer, it's a 7. The 12-teamer probably well over an 8 because you somehow got 2 first-rounders. All right, so JCB, Jimmy saying June and then early August, the last 2. Okay, so not that. So, okay. All right. Maybe not then. Maybe not. I just noticed, maybe it's just this year. I don't know. But I've noticed, like, in some of my recent drafts, I'm like, there's some weird picks being made. And by weird, I mean, like, this guy was not a second rounder 2 weeks ago. Why is he now a second rounder? I'm a man of the people. There's no way out answer. I got my trusty draft pilot here, which really helps. It would be hard to do this if it was like I was actually like, if I didn't have the draft pilot here, because the draft pilot instantly shows me the best players available basically, and then I can just say like, okay, who do I want? Instead of having to like look through the ADP. All right, Tyler, rate my 12-team Superflex team: Kyler, Kyron Brees, Nico, Zay, Swift, Trevor Lawrence, Jake Ferguson, Ladd, Zeke. Automatic 1-point deduction for Zeke. Drake, mate, why do you have Kyler Murray? Oh, it's Superflex. My bad. All right, but you still get the 1-point deduction for Zeke. Mike Williams, Joshua Palmer, Chuba. All right, Kyron and Brees is great, even though Kyron's now just a punt returner. Nico, Zay Flowers, Ladd McConkey. Wide receivers a little weak. I don't know what wide receivers were on the board when you took Swift, but I probably would have preferred a receiver over Swift, depending on who was there. Yeah, it's good. I think it's a 7.5, but because of the 1-point deduction for Zeke, you get a 6.5. Sorry, rules are the rules. I don't make the rules. Actually, I do make the rules, but that's the rule. You draft Zeke, you get a 1-point deduction. Nope, not moving Jacobs with AJ Dillon out, leaving him right where I had him. Yeah, it's true. Frost is saying you can get ahead of trends in the offseason. Definitely can get ahead of trends in the offseason, but also typically more seasoned, sharper drafters in the offseason, because people who don't pay attention to fantasy till August aren't going to be doing best ball drafts in, June. Ty Powers thinks my team is stacked. Thank you. I'm happy with it so far. Long way to go. Still a long way to go in this draft and in the season. What's up, Rusty Shackelford? Did we set the draft order before tonight? We did, because that's what people wanted. That's what they like. I'm like fine either way, but everybody voted to set the draft early, so I think I said it yesterday or the day before. So everybody knew where they were picking. All right, Rob, PPR needs to start 1 running back and 3 wide receivers. Has Pollard, Chase Brown, Dowdle, Higgins, Marvin Harrison, Cup. I think I only see 3 wide receivers, so that answers your question there. And then Pollard is the running back I would start. Dowdle, tough matchup this week. Well, I mean, it's the Patriots. I guess it's not that tough, but not sure how these touches are going to necessarily work out between him and Zeke, and maybe even Dalvin if they sign him. Chase Brown, same thing. I think he's still behind Zach Moss, so I think you're going to go Pollard at running back, and then you only listed 3 wide receivers, but those 3 wide receivers are fine. Flex Ford over Deontay Johnson. I think it depends. If it's PPR, I'm going Deontay. If it's half, I could make a case for Ford. If it's non-PPR, definitely Ford. All right, so Juan Pablo is saying that was a 12-team league. Is this the one where you got Bijan and AJ Brown? Okay, can you please explain how you got Bijan Robinson and AJ Brown in a 12-team league? Explain that. Like, I don't even understand. Did you have the number 12 pick and you got them at the turn? Like, yeah, I have no idea how that happened. All right, let's go. Get this out of here. What's the latest on Shaheed's injury? What's the latest on him? They don't think he will be out long term. He's not dealing with turf toe. I already have 1 wide receiver who's probably going to miss weeks. Alan's comments on Wednesday at least make it sound like I have a chance to be ready for the week 1. Okay, even if he misses week 1, that's fine. Let's go Shaheed here. I like Shaheed. In Dynasty, would I trade Zay Flowers for Jaden Daniels? Is it Superflex? If it's 1 QB, no. Give me the wide receiver. If it's Superflex, yeah, give me the QB for sure. All right, so Frosev's saying he's testing the draft pilot. He's using it as well. Did a great thank you. Thank our developer Ali. He did a fantastic job with it. Yes, it's going off, and I actually did update the rankings right before this. With all the camp news, the guys that got cut, the guys that are out for the season. I moved some guys up, some guys down, took some guys out who are like AJ Dillon, who are not going to play this year. So yes, it's a mix of our rankings as well as the site's rankings. So how the site ranks players. And also, of course, how the league is set up, like how many wide receivers, how many flexes, is it super flex, is it PPR, is it half PPR, is it non PPR, all that sort of stuff. Now, it doesn't If you're in a league that does like bonuses, it doesn't take into account that type of stuff, but maybe next year. But I'm glad you're enjoying it. Let's see your team here. You got Jefferson, Ayuk, Pittman, Rashad White, McBride, Ridley, Mostert, Jameson Williams, Edwards, Dak. Can't be mad about that team. Cannot be mad about that team at all. All right, Justin wants to know what I think of his 12-team PPR league. 12-team PPR league team. Anthony Richardson at QB is nice. Bijan, Rashad White, that's great. Adams, Diggs, Neighbors, Pickens. Not a huge fan of those wide receivers. Goddard at tight end is like okay if you're punting tight end. I'm going to say 7-5. I mean, I like your running backs. You got an elite QB. I think Goddard is fine in the 12-teamer. Look, if Diggs bounces back, if Neighbors can overcome Daniel Jones, then this team could be very, very good. But feels a little risky right now. Chase, you followed me at the 3-2 and a 14-man. Can't pass that up. No, you cannot, sir. You cannot pass that up. Take that value. Omar, 12-team PPR, got Dak, JT and Achane, Jefferson. Oh. So I'm guessing you were picking towards the end and you got Jefferson and then JT and then Achane fell to you at the end of the third? Like what? Okay, good job. Good job, Omar. That's great. Rice, Devontae Adams, Kirk, Njoku, Gus, Benson, Jacoby Wicks. No, okay, so the difference would be instead of Devontae, you'd have Rashad White and Deontay Johnson. Would I like that more? Yes. Is this still a great team? Yes. Your team is, you did not mess up your team. Your team is still great. I mean, Jefferson, Achane, JT is a fantastic start. You still have Rashee Rice, Devontae Adams, Christian Kirk. And I like Jacoby and Wicks. You got Gus Edwards, Benson. You got Njoku. You're fine. You got Dak. You're fine. You're fine. All right, we got another super chat from Zen. 12-man half PPR. 16 running backs by round 2. Like, okay, Zen, I haven't looked at your team yet. I'm praying that you don't have like Joe Mixon as your RB1 or somebody like that. Take the wide when your league is going crazy on running backs, take the elite wide receivers. Let's see here. Got Hurts, got Amon-Ra, Olave, DJ Moore, Brian Thomas Jr., Palmer, Kyron Williams. Okay, good. Okay, you got Kyron Williams, but then you waited. Obviously, you got Moss, Warren, Singletary, Chuba, tight end Kittle. There you go. You got an elite QB. You got an elite wide receiver. Olave, DJ Moore is your 2 and 3 is great. You got Brian Thomas Jr. and Palmer. You got Kyron as your anchor. Moss, Warren, Singletary, Chuba. Kittle at tight end. Yeah, well done. 8.5. Well done. Sorry, I got to picture one of my dogs. Had to take a break from the draft to look at that. All right. Tyler, how can you play in a league against Pierre and I? So there's still spots in Pierre's super flex league. I think there's 4 spots left. So if you go into the Discord, which I'm posting the link right now, and you go to the announcements channel, you will see the link to join. It is a $25 buy-in. It is super flex, which is fun, by the way, even though Big Lenny disagrees. All right, back on the clock. Ooh. Can I wait a little bit longer on another? All right, I'm going to wait a little bit. Definitely was considering a running back there. But Shaheed week 1 might be in doubt. Hollywood week 1 might be in doubt, or definitely in doubt. Almost certainly out. All right. Oh, okay. So Rob meant start 2 of these guys: Higgins, Marvin Harrison, Cup. I mean, I think you got to start Harrison. Who did I say? Bengals play the Patriots. The Rams get the Lions. That Lions secondary looks terrible. I think I'm gonna go Harrison and Cup this week or next week. Oh, so Juan Pablo, you traded for Bijan. Okay, that makes more sense. It was really hurt my brain that you got Bijan and AJB in a 12-teamer. That's still great, though. You have 2 first-rounders. Still great. All right, Sean Dude. In a 12-team PPR, he's got Kyler, Etienne, JT, Olave, AJ Brown, Diggs, Debo, Waddle. Wow, nice. McBride at tight end. Brian Robinson, Mostert, Ford, Singletary, Sutton. All right, you got Chubb on IR, whatever. He's on IR, whatever. Elite QB, JT and Etienne at running back. AJ Brown, Olave, Diggs, Debo, Waddle at wide receiver. That's phenomenal. McBride, and you got Brian Robinson, Mostert, Ford, and Singletary, Sutton on the bench. This is like almost a 10. $9.5. You crushed it, dude. Crushed this. You crushed it. Ethan got Kyler 35 picks after his ADP. I mean, you're noticing a lot of teams I'm talking about tonight have Kyler. Kyler is such an amazing value this year. Tristram, it's no longer IDP. There was not enough interest for IDP, so he switched it to Superflex. No IDP. And yes, you did get Lamb and Sun God, but it was auction, and I was in that draft. But that's auction. See, auction, you can pull off stuff like that. That's what I love about auction, right? You can be like, hey, I want to get like 3 first-rounders and then punt the rest of my team or whatever. But you did well. I mean, but I do wonder with the scoring in that how good is Lamb and Sun God in that scoring? Like 0.3 PPR? I've never seen that before. I don't know. I went very running back heavy in that draft. I felt like running backs benefited more. I guess we'll see. Sarp Erden saying we led him to his first fantasy championship last year. Congratulations. Awesome. Hope we can do the same. That prize money is looking hefty. Let's do it. Let's get that prize money. All right. What do I feel about this receiving core? AJ Brown, Stephon Diggs, T. Higgins. I want to try and trade Higgins and get someone else, but not sure. I would be probably try to trade Diggs for 2 reasons. Number 1, Diggs competing with Nico and Dell, but also I think Diggs has more value. Not a lot of people like T. Higgins this year. People still like Diggs. I think Diggs is the one I'd be trying to trade, but overall, I think this is a fine wide receiver core. It's not like elite, but it's more than fine. More than fine. Mr. Cross Examiner, no, sorry, we do not have IDP this year. Maybe we could do that next year. I honestly, I did the auction draft with Tristram and it was IDP. I literally just waited till the end and just took all the best remaining defensive players. I have no idea if they're even good or not. I don't follow IDP at all. So yeah. JSN or Deontay week 1? I'm going Deontay. I feel like Deontay's Eshawn asking this. I feel like Deontay is clearly going to be the number 1. I do like JSN this year, but I think week 1 I'm going Deontay. Wendy, Simongano 33. That's me. Only 2 running backs. That's right. Only 2 running backs. But I got 2 good ones, so I'm okay. Also, it's a 3 wide receiver, 1 flex. Don't worry, I will have more running backs by the end. Okay, crippled saying he got Diggs 6th round. Do you think? Yeah, 6th round Diggs is totally fine. Totally fine. 6th round Diggs should be just fine. It's well, where did he go here tonight? I mean, in this draft, okay, he went 4th. I think it's okay. Usually in our drafts, he goes a bit later, but in like most drafts, I think he's going to go like 3rd, 4th round. But 6 is totally fine. Kyle, Kamara, or Deontay. I think you got to go Kamara, honestly. I do like Deontay, but you look at the Saints, they get the Panthers week 1, a terrible run defense. I think you got to go Kamara. All right, Bruin backhand, 10-team PPR got Jordan Love, Jaden Daniels, Brees Hall, Etienne. Is this Superflex? You just went 2 QBs, I guess. Okay, Brees, Etienne, James Cook, Najee, Dowdle, Harrison, Olave, Cup, Neighbors, Rice, Schultz. That's the tight end question. Yeah, you obviously punted tight end, but it is what it is. You can always stream. Also have 5 wide receiver, running back limits, blah. Okay. Obviously tight end a weakness, especially in 10-team. You could stream, and there will be guys available on 10-teamer. I don't know if you could have gotten a better tight end where you took Love or Daniels. Maybe just if you would have taken a better tight end over one of those guys and just gotten one of those quarterbacks instead. Running backs are great. Wide receivers are very good. Quarterback tight end for a 10-teamer is good to not good, so I'll give it a 7.5. But if you end up, plucking a good tight end off waiver wire, this could be a very good team for sure. All right, everybody, here you go. I'll give a shot for Tristram. So if you guys want, he's got one last 14-team league drafting Thursday on Yahoo for people that want IDP. So I don't know. I don't know how they get in it. How do they get in it? What's a fair trade for Alvin Kamara? Well, you look on here. Where did he go? Alvin Kamara went around Keenan Allen. I mean, if you're going to get a wide receiver like Keenan Allen, Watson, Hopkins, Odunze, guys like that, probably. It really depends how, does your league still view Alvin Kamara as the league winner he was, what? Jeez, has it been that long? What was that, 4 years ago now? Who are my top 5 kickers this year? Yeah. Okay, so I know this. Young Wei Koo was awful in preseason. Surprised he didn't get cut. All right, Bill. Yeah, unfortunately, and our developer even reached out to ESPN. For whatever reason, ESPN does not have an API we can connect with. This was not a choice that we made because we don't like ESPN. It was a choice that was made for us because ESPN does not have an API, which is why we added our draft rankings for people who can't use the draft pilot, who play on ESPN or NFL or now NFL CBS was a choice because we didn't have time. Next year, I think we are the plan is to add sites like NFL, CBS, stuff like that. Unfortunately, ESPN does not have an API, so nothing we can do, sadly. Will draft lane factor in a 4-man? I don't even know what this is. A 4-man looping draft? What is a 4-man looping draft? Explain it to me. I've never even heard of this. Top 4 QBs for Superflex: Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson. Same as my top 4 in redraft. Or non-Superflex, I should say. Jefferson fell to the 11th in a 12-man. Yeah, he's fallen. It goes from so pick 1, pick 2, pick 3, pick 4, pick 1, pick 2, pick 3, pick 4, so it's only a 4-man league. I mean, it'll factor it in because what it does is when you're on the clock and you say, okay, I'm up, who should I pick? It looks at your team. It looks at your league settings, your roster requirements, your scoring, and it looks at who's on the board, and it will suggest, and then it looks, of course, at our rankings, and it takes all that together and says, okay, these are the players we recommend you take, and it gives you a few choices, like our top choices and then our secondary choices. So it'll work for that. Should work for that. It doesn't really matter if it's snakes or not, because it really looks like it's really more like on the clock and it says, okay, here's the guys based on everything else. All right, we definitely need running backs. Let's go Jaleel. I think he'll have a role in Denver. He can be like a... Yes, Michael, you did draft a ton of running backs. And John saying he drafted too many running backs as well. All right, Sean was saying the last team was an 8-team, but he's got another team, an 11-teamer. 11 teams, so I guess that means you have a bye during the season. Is that how that works? Caleb, Bijan Etienne, Olave Debo, McBride, Zay Flowers, James Conner, Hollywood, Singletary, Ford, Shakir, Daniels, and Chuba Hubbard. All right, Bijan Etienne is great. Olave Debo, Zay Flowers, Hollywood is good at wide receiver. McBride, an elite tight end. Caleb fine at QB. You got Connor, Singletary, Ford, Shakir, Daniels, Chuba. I'm going to rate this like a 12-teamer since it's an 11-teamer. This is pretty good. I'll give this an 8. Give that one an 8. Tristram, I've eventually given up on Chuba, which means he'll probably be a monster this year. I don't know if he'll be a monster. I did consider Chuba where I took Wicks. I certainly considered Chuba there. But it's a 3 wide receiver, 1 flex league. I can get running backs off the waiver wire. Maybe it'll bite me. All right, Eddie, question. I got A.J. Brown and CeeDee Lamb in a 10-team. The running backs are Aaron Jones and DeAndre Swift. QB is Jalen Hurts. What you think? Yeah, I think those running backs, not feeling good about those running backs in a 10-teamer. Again, 10-teamer, you don't want to be too bad at any one position in a 10-teamer. So, look, I think Aaron Jones will be fine this year. Swift, if he's the lead back, should be good, but I'd like to have slightly better running backs. All right, coming up to the last 2 rounds here. Thoughts on Rob Broccoli. You know you've been with the end game for a long time. You know you've been watching Endgame for a long time when you know my disdain for Rob Broccoli. right, another draft lane question. Will the settings of 4 running backs and 4 wide receivers and super flex be factored in? Okay, I'll be honest. 4 running backs may be tricky for it. 4 wide receivers it can definitely handle. Super flex it can definitely handle. 4 running backs, I don't want to steer you wrong. I don't want to steer you wrong. So I can't guarantee that it can handle 4 running backs. I've never seen a 4 running back league. We didn't factor that in, to be honest. So it may not. All right, Corey Jefferson, St. Brown, Gibbs, Nakua, White, and Joku, Flowers, Neighbors, Mooney. Am I good or trade? I mean, you got a ton of good players. I mean, what is that, like an 18 league? I mean, you got nothing but studs. You're good. You're good. My favorite weekend eat out food. Yes, if it's like going out on the weekend to a nice dinner, steak, filet mignon. Or I'll also say there's this restaurant by us. It's literally called A Restaurant, like the letter A. They have this 16-ounce ribeye that is cooked just, perfect. And then they give you a baked half of a raw garlic that's been baked, and you squeeze it all over this steak. It is so good. It's where we go every year for my birthday. So good. But if I'm gonna like splurge, like a nice dinner, I want a steak. If it's like middle of the week and it's burgers or pizza. All right. Ash Ashisha, 12-team half PPR, 1 QB, 2 wide receiver, 2 running back, 1 flex, 1 tight end, QB. Got Mahomes. Very good. Tyreek Hill, London, Olave. Very good. Running back, Stevenson, White. Okay, obviously punted running back, but that's not bad. Schultz, definitely punted tight end. Dell, Godwin, Chase Brown, Ford, Chuba, and McLaughlin, and DeMarcus Robinson, and Jonnu Smith. I mean, elite QB, stacked wide receivers, good enough running backs for a 12-teamer. Tight end's your weakness, but if tight end's your weakness, that's okay. This is a 9. Well done. Hey Beast, what position should I draft first? Don't pick a position to draft first. Draft the best player first. Best player available in the early round, first round. Will Ayuk play week 1? I hope so. I mean, at this point, I'm starting to have my doubts. Like, this guy's got to get back to the practicing at some point here soon. How's the steak cooked? Medium rare. Always medium rare. Medium rare. Who do I like better as a running back handcuff? Justice Hill or Pierre Strong? I cannot say that when they're still on the board. That is not fair. Rogue One. I've not. Actually, the irony is Return of the Jedi. Is it Return of the Jedi? Is Return of the Jedi the one with Jabba the Hutt? I saw that one when I was a kid when like it came out in theaters, but I barely remember. I just remember Jabba the Hutt. I've never been into Star Wars. I've never watched any of the Star Wars movies. Are we going to be talking about Deuce Vaughn week 2 waivers? Probably not. Maybe. Probably not. All right, Purdy or Tua in the last round. I don't think you can go wrong with either. I think I have to give Purdy the slight edge. Oh, they haven't been drafted yet. Oh, well, there goes Purdy, so I guess we know he's taken. Ray Davis, maybe. Ray Davis certainly has a path. Ray Davis isn't 150 pounds. All right, last pick here. Jimmy goes with Trevor Lawrence. And we're going to go with Zeke. No, just kidding. I'm not going Zeke. Can't go estimate. I already have. Either him. Yeah, it's definitely him. What's wrong with Zeke? You get an automatic 1-point deduction if you draft Zeke. Weren't you here earlier, Bags? What's wrong with Zeke? He's dust. He's done. He's done. And of course, Demarcus Robinson for John. No brainer. Yeah, good draft, everybody. I'm not going to rate the teams. This is a real league. Not rating teams. Everybody's team is great. Well done, everybody. Can't wait to play with you all. Tomorrow, I will be back, same time, for a draft I'm very excited for. That is going to be a redraft best ball league, meaning you still have waivers. You can still make trades, but you don't set your lineup. The computer will automatically give you your best possible lineup every week. Still head-to-head, still playoffs, everything as like a normal redraft league. Just you don't have to pick who you're starting, who you're sitting. The computer does it for you. It's going to be great. So I'll be back here same time tomorrow. Rahul, quick rating, appreciated. 10-team, half PPR. Kyler, Brees, Henry, Evans, DJ Moore, Flowers, Mostert. Brees and Henry, great. Evans, DJ Moore, Flowers, not bad for a 10-teamer. Not elite, but not bad. Mostert on the bench. Kyler at QB. Give it an 8. I'll give it an 8. McBride at tight end. Yeah, you get an 8. All right, so we'll be back here tomorrow, drafting again. And yeah, appreciate you guys. A lot of fun tonight. Do it tomorrow. Don't forget to check out all the videos. And if you're checking us out for the first time, subscribe, hit that like button. And we'll be back here tomorrow to do it again. Enjoy the rest of your night, everybody.